If everybody worried about the other person,
oh man,
then you're on the right track.
You're on the right track.
Right.
Because if I'm thinking about pouring into you,
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about pouring into me.
Mm-hmm.
There is no deficits.
Right. And I'm not thinking about me.
Right.
But you're thinking about me.
Right. Right.
And I'm thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not thinking about you.
That's right. That's very true.
If we think about each other, then it's not selfish. It's selfless.
The Joyce Team Lovecast.
They podcast. We love cast.
Hey. What's going on, y'all? You are now tuned into the Joyce Team Lovecast. I am Chris Joyce.
And I'm Latia Joyce.
And on today, we're just here to give you some real tips for your relationships.
With real love in a real way.
Real love in a very real way.
Yes.
You dig. So, with that being said, real love in a real way. You hate to sometimes have to address crazy topics, but sometimes you just got to talk that talk.
Right.
Okay. And the opposite of a healthy relationship is an unhealthy relationship. Mm-hmm. But relationships just don't happen to be unhealthy. It's a process. Mm-hmm. And one of the main things we see in today's society that causes unhealthy relationships is neglect within the relationship. Mm-hmm. Two main things in particular that we're going to address today that we tend to see that is neglected. Mm-hmm. It's a lack of affirmation and attention given in the relationship. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because if your partner, if your spouse, your significant other is not affirming you or giving you attention, then you look for it somewhere else.
Ooh.
And that's not good.
Ooh.
You should want all of the affirmations and attention from your spouse.
Yes.
From your significant other.
So affirmation and attention is a very powerful thing. Would you not agree?
I agree.
Yes. But now here's why I believe affirmation and attention is very, very important. Because it contributes to the emotional intimacy and deep connection that you have.
That's good.
When you affirm your significant other and you give attention to your significant other. Yeah. Excuse me for my bum fumbles, but you understand what I'm saying. You see what I mean.
Yes.
Affirming and giving the proper amount of attention to your significant other is, I mean, the connection, it's unparalleled, I think. You know what I mean?
I tell you how proud I am of you all the time.
Oh, all the time. She tells me.
I love you.
All the time. Affirms me on a daily basis. Gives me attention on a daily basis. An example of affirmation would be to say, I really appreciate the way that you support me and how you see me in all that I do. And I want you to know that I recognize you doing that. And I love you and I value everything that you bring to the table. So I'm affirming what I see her do. I'm acknowledging it, right?
Yes.
That's just one example. I know for me, I do this daily with my girl. I know she'll tell you. And she does it daily for me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Affirms me, lets me know that I'm seen, fills me up. Lets me know that I'm valuable to her and how important I am to her. And I let her know how important she is to me. We affirm each other because we need to, but we also want to. We want our significant other to know how important they are to us.
Yes, he knows that. And I don't want attention from anyone else.
Right. At all.
No, I want all the attention from you.
All the attention.
And I want you to know that I want to be all the attention that you need.
And you are all the attention that I need.
All of my attention.
Yeah. It's geared towards me.
Yeah.
So you busters don't stand a chance. You understand me? You busters don't stand a chance. You can't beat me, cuz. This loving is A1 loving, G. Top shelf. You
Yeah.
understand me? But again, in a serious note,
Yeah.
we make it a point to affirm each other and give each other attention because we don't want to leave any gaps out in the streets. Because there's a lot of gaps that we see people are trying to fill in foreign ways. If you have a significant other, in my opinion, I don't believe, like she just said a second ago, I don't believe you should be looking outside of that relationship for a feeling affirmation or a sense of attention that makes you feel better about yourself.
Right.
You know, of course, God being first. And then for us, that's it. Vertical, horizontal. And that's how we keep it, you know. I truly believe, especially when we look at social media and things like that, there are so many deficits that we see people trying to fill because of the lack of affirmation and the lack of attention that they get.
They may get,
right? A lack of attention and a lack of affirmation gives so many different things that can manifest in your life, right? It can lead to being insecure about a lot of things. It can lead to you feeling isolated. Like, man, I can't be around anybody. I don't want to be around anybody because you don't feel whole. You don't feel complete, right? You can have a diminished emotional connection with your significant other, right? Because there's a lack of affirmation or a lack of attention, right? So you don't even feel emotionally connected as you may have once felt, right? Again, a good example of that, like I just alluded to a second ago, is social media. Oh my goodness.
It can be dangerous on social media.
Oh, listen, I off camera, I was telling her earlier, it's interesting to me when you see people, it's almost like you going too hard to get attention or too hard to get affirmation, right? Because, I mean, how many selfies do you really need? I mean, how many videos of you walking do you really need? And again,
You can do it together.
you can do it together, you know, and I don't want to sound judgmental from the standpoint of my preference, right? I don't do a lot of those postings because I'm just not that kind of person. But I do begin to question when you are in a relationship with a significant other, and I'm talking about selfies for days, individual posts for days, things like that. Trust me, if you're looking for attention, it'll find you.
You don't get it. What's up, Lovecast lovers and friends? I'm here with a new love exercise, and we like to call this Love Suds. And so what this is, you do once or twice a week. We like to do it as often as possible, but you shower together. And what that does is it opens up a new level of intimacy, a way to connect with each other. You can pamper each other and just have a good time. And you can also see where that leads you. So if you think this is something that you would like to try, let us know in the comments. All right, see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, if you're looking for affirmation, the likes will go there, you know, the comments underneath will go there. But I'm gonna be honest, I know in our relationship, she affirms me to such a high level and gives me attention on such a high level. I don't seek it anywhere else. I'm getting all that I need in this particular scenario, right? I would admonish those who have significant others, do your best to meet that need within the relationship and have conversations if those needs are not being met. I don't think there's nothing wrong with having that conversation.
No, it's nothing wrong with having that conversation. And then if you feel like you do if people want to show, you know, maybe an outfit or, you know, a hairstyle or whatever, I would say do it with your significant other.
Yeah.
Or your spouse.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, let it be seen and let it be known that, you know, you with somebody, you got somebody. I'm gonna tell you from a male perspective, at least from what I've seen over the years, if I have somebody, if I'm with somebody, but you don't never see them never at no point, no time at all. From the outside looking in, a female could look at it like, man, something ain't right there.
So I can go after. Now there's a problem.
The vipers come out. Same difference. If my wife is seeking attention and affirmation outside of what I give her, if there's a deficit there, and I know I'm not doing all that I'm supposed to be doing or I could be doing to make sure she feels seen and make sure she feels valued, the vipers come out. They gonna see. They smell. It's like blood in the water to a shark. Like, oh, what's that going on over there? Like, let me see your little DM. Let me get you. Come on now, and you know what happens. And you know, again, social media has been the downfall of so many relationships because whatever you display, especially in a public forum in that way, unless you delete it, it can't be taken back. But then even if you do delete it, depending on who sees it, it's like a green light. It's like, oh, there's something up right there. And you want to make your situation as bulletproof as possible.
Right.
And here's the thing. If it ain't bulletproof, don't be all in the public with it. Don't put it on Front Street until it's Front Street worthy. That's just my opinion.
Right.
You know,
right.
That's my opinion because everybody doesn't get it right. We always don't do everything we could do. But if it's a work in progress, let it be built in the background.
Right. Because over time, you know, if your spouse or significant other feels that way, then you can they'll get some emotional distance from you.
Yeah.
So then you start growing apart instead of together.
Right.
And then there's a pitfall in your relationship.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard so many times where people say we grew apart because of emotional distance, right? If you really dig deep into that, it usually comes as a result of the lack of affirmation, the lack of support, the lack of attention between the significant others. And once that begins to happen on a consistent basis, that neglect sets in, people begin to drift apart, you know, because you can really feel like that person ain't into you.
Right.
They don't care. You know, they're not concerned. They're not considerate of your feelings and your emotions and what you need as a person. And I truly believe, man, especially when for those who are spouses, man, all you need is all the ingredients to a good meal should be in your spouse. Now, you determine how it tastes, though. You know what I mean? It's up to you to determine how that food come out. You know what I mean? It could be bland, or it could be the best tasting meal you ever had. You know, spicy. But it all depends about how you unlock the ingredients. You know, I need more love. I need more attention. I need this. I need that. You know, but it's how you go about unlocking that. It's how you go about not neglecting communication with your partner, right? Because when you neglect communication on a regular basis, you can begin to have the best way I can say it is the interaction between you two, it grows wider and wider and wider. Like we were laughing off camera because we could be in a crowded room full of people because we're so connected. I can lean my head a certain kind of way and give a look. I done said 2 whole sentences and only she know.
Right.
Right? Because the connection is there. We built the connection, right? When you're not connected and you don't have enough communication to where you can begin to not necessarily read each other, but you're just on one accord, on the same page, man, you can get to a level where you can say stuff without even saying stuff. Right. You know what I mean? And I think, I know that's a very important skill to have in a relationship, to be able to have that kind of conversation without even having the conversation.
Right.
And you can move according to wisdom, right? It's like, listen, if I don't understand, then the initial thought is, well, let me get closer to her so I can understand what she's trying to tell me.
Right. Instead
of just saying, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm going to go my way.
Right. Right.
You know,
come together to get an understanding.
Yeah. Come together to get an understanding. Again, we're talking about the neglect of affirmation and attention and the crazy results that come of that, right? But we are a solution-based Lovecast.
Yes.
We come with the answers, not just the problems.
Right.
So how do you combat this issue, right? If you find yourself in a situation where you're not receiving the affirmation or the attention you think you deserve or you feel like you deserve, or even vice versa, you might not be giving it the way you should be giving it. We got some answers for you.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you need to do in that relationship with your significant other, you need to build a culture of appreciation.
Yes.
Write that down if you're taking notes.
Yeah.
Build a culture of appreciation. I know we do this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And what that really means is you're communicating to your significant other, I see you,
Mm-hmm.
I hear you,
Mm-hmm.
and you are highly valued by me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because when you build that culture, when that becomes a culture in your relationship, not only is it hard for it to be penetrated, but you feel so fulfilled in that relationship, you desire nothing outside of that relationship.
Right.
And let's just be real. It's a lot of desiring going on in our culture, okay? And it's not always the proper desire. We just gonna be real. You know what I mean? Relationships are falling left and right. You've got people who've been married just as long as us, and then they just call it quits.
Right.
Desiring something on the outside, but what was the root cause of that?
Mm-hmm.
Lack of affirmation, lack of attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And listen, whatever level you may be at, you could be dating, you could be a fiance, you could be in marriage, newly married, been married for a long time. There's always more room to grow in your affirmation towards each other, your attention towards each other, because it's going to help you grow. It's going to help you build.
Yes, definitely.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So the second thing we want to say, because we're going to come to a close here in a minute, but the second thing that we want to help you combat neglect or the possible neglect of affirmation and attention will be some examples on how to build that culture of appreciation, right? And that could be giving gratitude, offering compliments, and actively listening to your partner, to your spouse, to your significant other, right? When you hear me or see me actively listening to you, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel close to you because you understand what I'm saying, or you're at least hearing what I'm saying. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then you'll ask me, and then I can further explain. But it makes me feel good.
Yeah, yeah. And as a significant other to you, I value you knowing I'm trying. Because sometimes, we're not going to get it right always.
And you might not understand till maybe the third time.
Right. which is true. But you recognizing I'm trying to understand, it means more than just you just throwing your hands up like, oh man.
It's like, oh, whatever.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Right.
Right. Seeking to get that understanding because you understand that knowing what makes you tick, what makes you feel good. We had this conversation off camera too. Like, I'm a simple guy, right? But she knows the things that just gets me moving. And she executes on that daily. And what that does for me is just unspeakable. Like, I'm telling you, I be speechless sometimes. I'm like, man, this girl loved me so good, And hopefully I do the same.
Definitely.
Yeah?
The same. Oh, yes.
You sure?
Oh, yes. I feel all the love. all the love.
All the love.
Yes.
I try to make sure.
And I appreciate it.
Oh,
definitely appreciate it.
You are very welcome. You are very welcome. That's how we got to 21 years.
Yes.
Together.
Years together.
Yeah. And again, that wasn't always that way.
But you have to learn each other, and it's important and to listen.
Right.
And, but once you figure it out, then you build upon it.
Right.
And I think, a lot of people, they may not know what to do.
Right.
And so they do what they think is right or what they see on TV or on social media.
Oh my gosh. And that ain't nothing but mess and drama.
Right. Right.
Oh my God.
This episode of the Joyce Team Lovecast is sponsored by V.O. Marshall's Salon and Beauty Bar in partnership with Tracy Ellis Ross's Pattern Hair Care products. Embrace the beauty of your curls with the What's Your Pattern campaign. Reserve your spot now by dialing 843-934-2037. Unleash the perfect pattern for your hair.
Nothing but mess, nothing but drama. Mm-hmm. And it actually feeds more into a self-centered look at relationships. Mm-hmm. Feed my ego, do this, do that, and understanding that the way you get beyond feeling neglected is making sure your significant other, you pour into that relationship.
Right. If everybody worried about the other person,
oh man,
then you're on the right track.
You're on the right track. Right. Because if I'm thinking about pouring into you, mm-hmm. you're thinking about pouring into me, mm-hmm. there is no deficits.
Right. And I'm not thinking about me.
Right.
But you're thinking about me.
Right.
And I'm thinking about you. Mm-hmm. And you're not thinking about you.
That's right. That's very true.
If we think about each other, then it's not selfish. It's selfless.
Yeah. And one thing, we have a lot of conversations off camera. So well, another thing we talked about earlier was simply saying that one of the reasons why you really have to be careful about what you are putting out to the public and presenting to the public, especially if there's a deficit. Let's say there's a deficit of attention. One thing people notice and can pick up on very quickly is if there's a deficit of attention, it's communicating two things to the person who's recognizing it. One, there's something lacking within you. And secondly, if there's a significant other involved, there's a lack that they're not putting into you, mm-hmm. right? So, there's something missing here, mm-hmm. and there's something missing between here, mm-hmm. right? You always have to be, again, that was a great example. If I'm focused on pouring into you and you're focused on pouring into me, mm-hmm. there is no deficits. Mm-hmm. There is no open areas for any goofiness because there's a lot of goofiness. Mm-hmm. And one of the main purposes, if not the main purpose of our podcast is to get the goofiness out of relationships and help people grow.
Yes.
Again, we don't know it all. We're not necessarily coaches or anything like that. But with us being together for as long as we've been together, we know a little something. Yes. Again, we got room to grow.
Yes.
But we also know that these are the steps that have helped us, mm-hmm. right? Making sure she don't feel neglected. I'm going to be real with y'all. I would feel some kind of way if I see her on socials all the time looking for attention. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're doing business, you got a product to sell, whatever the case may be, even if you're an influencer, that can be touchy sometimes. But I just refuse to allow anybody else to fill that deficit. Mm-hmm. I'm going to fill that cup. Ain't nothing but my water going in that cup. You understand me? I'm filling that cup myself. You can't. I'm slapping hands. No, sir. You keep your spout over there, sir. My spout goes in that cup, Chief.
Yes.
Tell the kids to go get away from the screen. My spout goes in the cup. My spout. I said what I said. I said what I said. My spout goes in that cup. Doggone it.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and I know we're laughing, but we understand the importance of that, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It goes without saying. And I'm not saying you're not going to hit no bumps in the road.
Right.
I'm not going to say you're going to always get it right. But, man, it is so important for your significant other to not feel neglected. And these are the two areas. If you can approach these with intention, I don't think they can feel neglected, but it would be very hard to feel neglected. You know what I mean? So make it your business to affirm one another.
Yes.
Make it your business to pay attention to one another. Mm-hmm. And man, you can't lose.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you have just tuned into and watched the Joyce Team Lovecast. Yes. I'm your boy, Chris Joyce.
And I'm Lucia Joyce.
Hey, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.